Hello everyone. This video is to show you around the Epic Books homepage. Now, if I'm going to be entirely honest just from the get-go, I do almost prefer using it on the iPad. Even for the teacher options and tools, I do actually prefer using it on the iPad, which I know is a little bit strange and doesn't help everybody. But if you are one of the teachers who are in K2 and using the iPad, or if you just have one at home, I'd recommend using it. It's just very user-friendly on the iPad, and I feel like it's just a little bit less overwhelming with everything there. Now, as you go through, you have just this basic dashboard here. You're going to have your class code on the side, and this class code does not change. This is all your students really need to have to join into Epic Books. And you do have instructions here if you're needing more clarification on that. Now, looking here, you can click on this top portion for your students. You can have your roster, the daily reading statistics, the student logs, assignments, quizzes, and so on. So you have quite a few options on that side. When you click on roster and you add a student, you just click on this portion. You can create a group if you're trying to do leveled reading groups, or even, for example, research groups. Epic Books just has an incredible library of very realistic, tangible, interesting books. And so this is going to be a very ideal source if you're trying to do some of those research topics. So you just create the group and then you can go through. So all of my students here are there, and I can see as their avatars have changed. And then you do have editing ability after you finish. Now looking at my library, you're going to be able to see just the books that I've selected into collections. So here I have the report card books that I used, where we've got our nonfiction and then fiction book for our quizzes. We just were playing around with the Spanish features and sent this to the students. All you need to do when you go through and select books is to save them to a collection, and then you can go through once you have your collection built and share it with your students. You can assign them here, and you can click on which students you want to send it to. Now, when you do give that to your students, it's just going to pop up on their side in the mailbox, which on the iPad is just located at the bottom. And then if students are doing this online, they're just going to see it in that section as well. Now, it's going to document whether the students have read the book fully or not. There are audiobook options. There are books with audio where they can see and read at the same time. And then there are just normal books where they just need to read it. It does gauge if they've moved too quickly through the book. They can like it and save it for later. It gives them recommendations at the end. They can search by topic and by title. They can search by theme. There's just tons of different options for the students there. Now, they do get points as they're reading the books. And they are able to kind of change their little avatar as they go through and do that. As for teachers, these are the different categories that you're going to have for your students: recommended books, Lexile reading levels, comic books, books that read to them, videos, and audiobooks. And then you have just all of these filters here that will show you the different categories that you can be looking up. Let's see here. Now, I think that's a good basic introduction. And then when you do share it with your students, I would recommend just having them share a screen with you. If you have a student that you trust and can maybe just share their screen with you one-on-one, so you can kind of play around with it on their side, it's going to be really helpful for you to see what kind of things you need to account for them. And then if you're using this on the iPad, just play around with it there. The iPad is a really great way to share with your Google Meet, where if you have your iPad on the Google Meet, all you have to do is present your screen and do it through the iPad, because then you can move it very easily and you're reading it without it having to be on your screen at the same time. So that's just one recommendation there. Now, the last thing that I wanted to say before finishing this video is that Epic Books only has the subscription for our school during the school day. So we have those licenses purchased for the students, but it's only for the time that we are in school. So even though the students have the iPads at home, if they try to open Epic Books past our school hours, it will give them an error message and say that they need to purchase their own account. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not always going to be the best one to do as far as assigning after school homework, but during that school day, it has a lot of beautiful functionality. And again, just the books in there are really incredible, and the resources are just very engaging and child friendly. So I'll go ahead and leave it at that, and I hope you enjoy.